Well, it looks like June is definitely going to be an interesting month for games, so let's talk about the top 10 games releasing in June 2016. Oh, and just a disclaimer, if you missed it, No Man's Sky has actually been delayed, so it's not releasing in June. You might find this list a little bit weaker with the lack of No Man's Sky. Sorry about that, blame them. Starting off with number 10, we have The Technomancer. The Technomancer is a sci-fi RPG for PS4, Xbox One, and PC set on Mars during the War of Water. Yes, that's a thing. You're an aspiring technomancer who faces a myriad of questions as his future grows, threatened by the secrets of his past. If that sounds a little generic, maybe it is. Focus Home Interactive and Spiders aren't known for producing the best games out there, but hey, I kinda like Bound by Flame, so I'm willing to give Technomancer a shot. Not to mention the fact that it just looks kind of unique and interesting, with a very odd sci-fi style. We put it on the list because we're giving it hope. Maybe it'll turn out alright. Number 9. Elder Scrolls Online on consoles is getting the Dark Brotherhood expansion. This released last month for PC, but it's worth mentioning it for the console players because it's not bad. So basically with the Dark Brotherhood and Elder Scrolls Online, the Dark Brotherhood come and they're recruiting, and it's up to you to explore the Gold Coast and really discover what the Dark Brotherhood is all about. I don't know if you guys know this, maybe you've never played Elder Scrolls or anything, but the Dark Brotherhood is like a League of Assassins. And they're pretty awesome. With this, you get a new passive skill line that's based around the Dark Brotherhood, the entire new PvE area called the Gold Coast, and a few hours of actual story content surrounding the Dark Brotherhood. If you're playing Elder Scrolls Online, this is worth checking out. And at number 8, we have Mighty Number 9. Mighty Number 9, what can we say about this game? It was kickstarted a million years ago, delayed countless times, now it's finally getting released. The latest news is that it got a launch trailer that was a little embarrassing and cringeworthy, but we're hoping that this still just holds up as a good old school platformer, a real spiritual successor to like Mega Man, like how it's been touted as. But we honestly don't really know until we get our hands on it. We can pass judgment, but you know, it's releasing this month, so we put it on the list. And at number 7, we have Umbrella Corps. This is the latest spin-off from the beloved Resident Evil series that takes things in a weird direction. This is an arena multiplayer shooter with close combat. It's odd, and I don't know how many Resident Evil fans were really asking for this, but it looks decent enough, especially since they actually throw zombies into the mix in these multiplayer arenas. And you can actually use the zombies to your advantage, like getting other players bit or using them as human shields, kind of. So they're really taking a formula and a genre of game and trying to spice it up with Resident Evil, so I guess we can give him some credit for that. And at number 6, we have Sherlock Holmes, The Devil's Daughter. I wouldn't immediately write this game off if I were you, because the Sherlock Holmes games of the past have actually been kind of like low-budget mystery fun games. But this time around, it looks like they're shaking things up and trying to make it a little more exciting and action-heavy, you know, turning a little bit more towards the Robert Downey Jr. style of Sherlock Holmes and less of the classic Sherlock Holmes. But the gameplay here remains somewhat the same. You investigate mysteries. This time around, there's 5 interconnected cases, with what it seems like Sherlock Holmes actually has a personal stake in it. And you gather clues and figure things out, and there's this deduction board where you kind of piece things together in your brain as Sherlock Holmes and figure it out. It actually works pretty great. And if you've played any of the other Sherlock Holmes games, you're probably going to be interested in this one, because it's probably going to deliver more of what you enjoy. And at number 5, we have Dangerous Golf. Dangerous Golf is dropping early in the month, and it's from the creators of Burnout. Criterion Games has formed this new studio, and have made a game that actually makes me want to play a golf game. I'm not a fan of golf games at all, but Dangerous Golf just looks like genuine, downright fun. The game has 100 different miniature golf style courses where you just kind of have to wreck shit. The object of the game is to get the ball in the hole, but also to destroy everything you can and score extra points. There's all kinds of wacky stuff like dirty bathrooms, exploding gas stations, fire, rockets, glass, smashable tables, walls, everything. There's so much crazy stuff going on here, and it's just so weird that I'm definitely curious. So that's why it is definitely earning a spot on our list. And at number 4, we have Star Ocean Integrity and Faithlessness. This is an action JRPG in the Star Ocean series, actually being the 9th entire game, including all the spin-offs. This is releasing for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3, published by Square Enix. And if you are a fan of JRPGs and some action in your gameplay, Star Ocean games definitely scratch that itch, especially this one. It's looking like it's pretty good, it's been received well in Japan, and judging by the more fast-paced, non-turn-based gameplay and the battle music, it seems like this is a good combination for a fun JRPG. And at number 3, we have Dead by Daylight, a multiplayer 4 versus 1 horror game where one player gets to play the role of the actual killer, like from a horror movie, and the other 4 players play as survivors. This time around, of course, being in the typical horror fashion, young, scared teenagers. The thing here is that the teenagers can actually use the environment to their advantage to outsmart this killer. But of course, you being the killer, you have your own advantages. There's a lot of other games right now releasing like this. Friday the 13th is getting its own asymmetrical multiplayer game, but this one just seems like it has the ideas down right, and visually visually, it looks pretty awesome. The cool thing here, though, is that the game appreciates horror, so you don't just get to play as a slasher killer, you can play as more of a paranormal entity type of thing, and you have different ways of killing your prey, all in a first-person perspective. It's also worth noting that all the levels are procedurally generated, so nothing is ever the same, so you'll probably get a lot of playtime out of this, especially if you're going to be playing with friends. There's a decent amount of progression here to warrant playing, and there is a little community excited for this game, so I think it might be worth checking out on PC. And at number 2, we have LEGO Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Hey, are you sick of LEGO games yet? Well, hope not, because The Force Awakens is getting one. This looks like another fun LEGO Star Wars game in typical LEGO game fashion. You get to play through the events of Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and the game is actually apparently going to fill in little story details here and there that weren't quite fleshed out in the movie. So at least for some Star Wars fans, there might be a little something extra for you, besides just another LEGO game. There's also going to be a season pass, and I think it's kind of funny and notable that you get to unlock Jar Jar Binks and Mace Windu with the season pass, which is like, you want to pay money for Jar Jar Binks? But then on the other hand, there's also a spin-off quest for Poe Dameron called Poe's Quest that could be a lot of fun, telling a little side story about our favorite new pilot. Let's be real, if you like Star Wars, you're probably going to be checking this out. And at number 1, we have Mirror's Edge Catalyst, finally getting a release. Fans have been asking for another Mirror's Edge game forever, so I think it's pretty cool that we're finally getting our hands on this. This time around, fans are getting a lot, with multiplayer, new emphasis on combat, and some restructuring around it. You're not going to be able to use any guns, but believe us, that's actually a good thing. You could probably tell just by watching that the visuals are pretty amazing. Graphically, the game has improved since the original, and not to mention the fact that you're getting a more open world style gameplay this time around. It also seems like they're emphasizing story and really fleshing out Faith as an actual character, so I'm curious to see where they're going to take it. I was a diehard fan of the original Mirror's Edge, so I cannot wait to get running with this one. See what I did there? Sorry. So guys, those are the games of June 2016 that we think are worth talking about. We also have some bonus games including Hearts of Iron 4, God Eater Resurrection, and Odin Sphere Life's Thrasier. I don't know how to pronounce that, sorry. Those are the games releasing. Once again, No Man's Sky is not here because it was delayed and it is sorely missed. But we do want to know from you guys in the comments what games you're going to be playing in June. Do you care about any of these games? It's definitely a weird month, but I can't wait to get my hands on Dangerous Golf. Let me know anything you want about any of the games releasing down in the comments below. We want to talk with you guys. You also know the deal. If you learned about any games this month, clicking the like button helps us out. We appreciate it so much. And if this is your first time here, subscribing is a good idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as